But while so much of Latin America has traveled the road to economic freedom and growth, in Venezuela, sadly, we're seeing tragedy. We're seeing the tragedy of tyranny play out before our eyes in our own hemisphere. As President Trump has said, the Venezuelan people are suffering and they are dying. They're experiencing grinding poverty. Families can't find the food and medicine they need to survive. Innocent children are literally perishing every day from starvation and deprivation. Just yesterday, my wife and I spent time with refugees of this crisis in a small church in Cartagena. We prayed with these families that are fleeing violence and poverty and starvation. We spoke to a grandmother who just last week reclaimed her grandchildren from Venezuela. And with tears in her eyes, she told us of how children would have to rise at 4 a.m. in Venezuela to get a ticket and then wait all day to use that ticket in the afternoon to buy one piece of bread. It's extraordinary to think in a nation that should well be one of the wealthiest nations in Latin America to hear of such deprivation and poverty. It just broke our hearts. Today, the once free people of Venezuela are being forced to endure that fate by the brutality of the Maduro regime. No free people has ever chosen to walk the path from prosperity to poverty. No free people has ever chosen to turn what was once and should still be one of South America's richest nations into one of its poorest and most corrupt. The Maduro regime has ignored and undermined their National Assembly. They've stifled the voices of a free press and the people alike. They've imprisoned countless political opponents, and more than 130 brave Venezuelans have died in a desperate fight to restore their freedom. Venezuela is sliding into dictatorship. And as President Donald Trump has said, the United States of America will not stand by as Venezuela crumbles. We will continue to stand with free nations across our hemisphere until democracy is restored for the Venezuelan people. A failed state knows no boundaries. A failed state in Venezuela will drive more illegal drug trafficking with its murderous criminal consequences radiating outward across Latin America and into the United States. A failed state in Venezuela will drive more illegal migration, compromising our borders, damaging our economies. And ultimately, a failed state in Venezuela will endanger the security, prosperity, and well-being of all of us who call the Western Hemisphere home. And President Trump and I are grateful. We're grateful for Argentina's leadership in condemning the Maduro regime. We applaud the measures President Macri has taken to track down corrupt Venezuelan officials. We're also grateful that Argentina voted with Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay to suspend Venezuela from the Mercosur until democracy is restored. And we gratefully recognize Argentina for joining 11 other countries to sign the Lima Declaration just last week, sending a powerful message that the free peoples of the Americas will stand with the Venezuelan people, and we will stand up to their oppressors. And President Trump in the United States calls on all of our neighbors across Latin America to do more. And you all can be assured the United States of America will continue to bring the full measure of American economic and diplomatic power to bear until democracy is restored in Venezuela. As President Trump said just a few days ago, we have many options for Venezuela. But the President also remains confident that working with all of our allies across Latin America and across the wider world, that we can achieve a peaceable solution, restoring democracy, and ending the crisis facing the people of Venezuela. But it will take all of us to do it. And be assured, what we do to see democracy restored in Venezuela, we will do together. The United States of America has already issued 3 rounds of targeted sanctions, including new sanctions just last week against Maduro and his inner circle. We will continue to act until the Maduro regime restores democracy, holds free and fair elections, releases all its political prisoners, and ends the repression of the Venezuelan people. We do this because it's right. The Venezuelan people deserve democracy. We do this because, as President Trump has said, a stable and peaceful Venezuela is in the best interest of our entire hemisphere. We all live in the same neighborhood. We succeed when our neighbors succeed. We struggle when our neighbors struggle. And so we will continue to act together to support the people of Venezuela in their fight for freedom. And today I say with confidence, the Venezuelan people will be free once more. For here in the New World, freedom always wins. As Argentina knows, freedom is a precious gift that demands constant protection, steady vigilance. And today, as in ages past, the United States will be unwavering in our resolve to uphold freedom in this hemisphere. Freedom has always been and will always be the source of our strength, the summit of the national life of our country, countries across this region. It's the very heart of who we are. And as freedom continues its advance across this hemisphere, President Trump and I know it will bring us to new heights of security and prosperity for all our people, and new heights of accomplishment that will continue to be the marvel of the world. We stand here today at the dawn of a new era in the New World. And the people of this hemisphere have a choice to make. It's the same choice that has faced us every day since 2 centuries and more ago of this nation's birth, and more than that, of my nation's birth. It's a choice that always demands our action, always commands our future. And so I say to our neighbors and friends across this hemisphere, let us here in the Western Hemisphere always choose freedom. Let us always choose democracy. Let us always stand with those who stand with these timeless values. Choose the path that America has taken throughout our history. Choose the path that Argentina is now taking with renewed vigor once again. It's bringing this country and other Latin American countries to all new heights. We need only remember the words of San Martin, whose mausoleum I had the privilege of visiting earlier today. As the great hero of liberty in this land tells us, quote, "Let us be free, for the rest matters not." My friends, the future of freedom beckons us all. And with confidence in the good people of the United States, of Argentina, and freedom-loving people all across Latin America, with firm reliance on the deep wellspring of faith in Almighty God, it is such a rich tradition in all the nations across this new world. I know we will meet that glorious future of freedom together as partners and as friends. Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless all of Latin America, and may God bless the United States of America.